Neo-Nazi Norwegian mass murderer Anders Behring Breivik has just won a part of a human rights case against the Norwegian state. He's claiming that some of his treatment in prison amounted to inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. Now, this man brutally murdered 69 people at a summer camp for children. He also, in a separate incident, set off a car bomb which killed 8 people. Now, despite all that, the judge said the right not to be subjected to inhuman treatment represented a fundamental value in a democratic society, which also applies to killers and terrorists as well. So, what he was challenging the government on was his solitary confinement, Joe. Basically, he was saying 22 to 23 hours a day, I was all by myself. He was denied any contact with other inmates, and anytime he would talk to a prison guard or any officials, it was through a very thick piece of glass. So you could see how over time, being that confined alone would make you go crazy, right? Yeah. And it's inhumane, and that's where that argument lies, is it not? I mean, just because this man did terrible things, do we follow his route and just do it equally as bad? No, I don't think so.
It's shocking to see a man like this win a case like this, especially when here in America, someone who committed a mass murder like this would obviously receive the death penalty if convicted. Obviously, the European Union is so strongly against the death penalty that we put people like this in prison, we give them isolation, and many people think that that's a worse punishment than the death penalty anyway. This man, his sentence was light enough as it is, although I will say that it can be reviewed
well, they don't have the death penalty
towards the end of his sentence. But the fact that he won a case like this, it's shocking to many people, especially when we've seen images of him coming to trial, the trial happening within the prison system, raising his arm and as a salute to Hitler. You just don't want to see a man like this get a victory. However, when you have the EU coming out so strongly against the death penalty, saying that we need to be more humane, and their reasons for abolishing the death penalty are all about being more humane, to then put someone in jail and keep them in jail in inhumane situations, effectively torturing them, just even simple things like keeping the lights on for 24 hours a day. I'm not sure that that was exactly what happened in this case, but these are cases we've heard before. This is torture, and if you're going to keep someone in prison and keep them alive in order to not give someone the death penalty, then realistically you shouldn't be allowed to torture them either.
Right, and I'm pretty sure we have an image here of the actual cell itself. This is a very common cell. This is what it would have looked like in Norway. Now, if you compare that to, some of the ones we see in the US, it's a lot better. But even despite that, leaving the guy alone for basically the whole time, I mean, he had an hour or so where he wasn't, in solitary confinement, I mean, it's just inhumane. So what Joe was talking about, what I was talking about, basically is that argument. If you want to have a justice system that says, no, don't do bad things, treat people with respect, with humanity, we can't then, as a form of punishment, just do basically what they're doing and treat people inhumanely. That doesn't really make sense, and it's not consistent with the democratic society and their values of Norway. So that's the argument here. A lot of people are very angry to see a neo-Nazi mass murder basically win a case in court, a public trial, especially no less the victims, right, of the families of the victims. They're also very upset, but at the same time, I definitely understand why they made this ruling. They didn't go for everything that he was asking for, but the main things like the solitary confinement, also him being woken up every half an hour or so for checks, was also deemed inhumane. So they're going to change, the way that they treat him in prison. Do you guys think that's right, even though he is a mass murderer as well as a neo-Nazi?